Hey, LinkedIn fam, let's talk about how we can innovate to sell and how can we use AI-powered tools to level up our LinkedIn prospecting game and unleash the lead generation beast. I want to talk to you about a couple of things. We're making an assumption that most of you that are here have a sales goal that you're trying to meet, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a rep, or whether you're running a team. You have a goal that you're trying to meet. There are many different ways that we can do that, but what we have to realize is not everything that we're doing is working, and we have to figure out either other things to do and how can we do things that take less effort but turn a higher reward. And I want you to understand that AI is this weird gray space for many people, but we're using AI in many aspects of our life as it is anyway. If you have an Alexa, that's AI. If you have predictive text and you swipe so you don't have to type a whole sentence, that's AI. So it's integrated in many different things that we have in our life. But I think when it comes to how can we use it for prospecting, how can we use it for LinkedIn, how can we use it for sales in our business, there's a lot of options and we don't know what to do. So I'm just going to share with you a couple of things that we've learned are working. Some of them are using AI. Some of them are using automation. So not necessarily AI, but just automation and allowing me to do what I would do one by one by one at scale and not taking my time to do that. So let's talk about a couple of things. Right now, LinkedIn is a gold mine. According to LinkedIn, they hit 1 billion users. Now, how many of those are your decision makers? It varies on your market, but I guarantee you that your decision makers are on LinkedIn. Even if they're not posting, 99% of the people on LinkedIn don't post. But decision makers, corporate decision makers, executive decision makers go to LinkedIn over 80% of the time just to search for potential providers, trainers, speakers, new hires, consultants, all of those things. So if you are on LinkedIn and you are only doing cold pitching and you haven't spent time to optimize your profile, you haven't spent time looking at events, networking at events, going to different groups, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So let's talk about a couple of things. So there are tools beyond Sales Navigator that LinkedIn has created that use AI. Outreach is one, accounts is another, personas is another. They are not the easiest to use. You kind of have to navigate and make sure you save often because it saves in different places. So you might create an account and say, these are my dream accounts. I go through in my Sales Navigator account view and set up all these dream companies. And then you got to save it. So there's things like that. Or I set up my dream roles and then you got to save it, but then you have to find it. So there are some AI-driven insights, account information, visibility, assumptions that LinkedIn is making based on the data that LinkedIn has that can absolutely help you. But if you're not using it, you're not using it. So you don't understand what it can possibly do. Another tool that I am absolutely obsessed with is Humanic. And if you've ever been on anything with me before, you might have seen this already, but let me show you what Humanic does. So this is my dear friend and client, and Bonnie K. Brown helps organizations save money on healthcare costs by teaching people how to advocate for themselves. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is Bonnie's LinkedIn profile. Humanic is browser-based, runs in the browser in the background. It's not super expensive. So Bonnie is a sharpshooter. That's her personality type. So for those of you who have been in this game for a while, you might remember disc profiles. Bonnie's disc profile is DC. So she's high dominance, high calculativeness. I am high dominance and high steadiness. Our personalities have one trait that's similar that we're dominant in, and it has two different traits that we're dominant in. Why does this matter? Because sometimes I've had past success, whether it was a certain client, a certain industry, a certain problem, and I say, okay, that worked. That sale was awesome. This client is awesome. I just need to find more like that. That can work, but sometimes we're making assumptions, and that was not a pattern, that was a one-off. So what Humantic does for our reps is it will say, this is a little bit about Bonnie. It's AI based on what it has captured that Bonnie has done, said, or engaged with on LinkedIn. She's ROI driven, she's precise but practical, thorough evaluator, and it gives you a little blurb about her. Now, there's a couple of things. If I have not connected with Bonnie yet, I can use this connection button, and Humantic will look at her profile and create a custom outreach message. Less than 300 characters within the LinkedIn limits, and you can send a custom connection request. Now, right now, Humantic does not charge, like you can only do 30 requests a month. So you can do as many of these as you want to using Humantic. You have to read it because some people don't have anything but university information or college information or volunteer information. So if you're saying, hey, I wanted to connect with you because you're a volunteer at this organization, and you're not a volunteer at any organization, then that may not work. So don't use it if the custom outreach is not good enough. What we typically do is we send no message. We just connect with people because there is value in my first connections being filled with decision makers. Because I do content, because I do events, because I engage, because I do other things, I just need the network. And if I have access, I'm good. I don't need to pitch. But many of us go into LinkedIn pitching. Okay, so here's what else it tells me. When selling to Bonnie, if I'm cold calling, these are things I need to understand. Pace, tone, tactics, things to avoid, making the ask, subconscious drivers. This is a script. So if I wanted to use their script as a starting point, I absolutely can. Would I use it alone? Absolutely not. So make sure that you read this stuff, because it may not match your tone and your style or the tone of your brand. When writing an email, subject, to the point, subject length. Do I need a salutation? Do I need a greeting? Do I want to have a closing line? Do I want to have a complimentary close? Some of these, so some of the DISC personality profiles are nurturing relationships. That doesn't matter to me. So what's my natural selling style? Data, ROI, stats, statistics, value. Well, if you're a person and you value relationships, then you're going to say, oh, you know Steve. I know Steve. Steve's a great guy, isn't he? I don't care about Steve, but your prospect might care about Steve. So all Humantic does, not all it does, one of the many things that it does is it helps me understand how to have a conversation, how to write an email. When qualifying or prospecting, this is what builds a winning connection with Bonnie. This is what will break her trust or her confidence. So do this, don't do this. When negotiating or closing, the secret to closing fast is this. Will you ever get a clear no? That is super important. Why? Because 93% of communication is nonverbal. What do we rely on as salespeople? Verbal communication. Does this look good to you? Yeah, looks good. Do you have any questions? Nope, I don't have any questions. That's what we rely on for our forecast. And when we don't hit our number, we're like, everybody said they were good. Well, guess what? This gives me more visibility. If I know that Bonnie will never tell me no, then I can't count on her yes. Because she's just trying to protect my feelings, or she's being a nice person, or she doesn't want to be mean. But that doesn't help me when I'm trying to hit a number. Okay, so some other things, setting expectations, all the things. So this is something that we use constantly just to kind of establish more trust and credibility and build rapport faster. I'm obsessed with Humanic. So let me move my face again. So a couple things. If you were on LinkedIn and you were not optimizing your profile, you must optimize your profile, not to be more about you, but to be more about your customer. Because I don't care. Honestly, there's a lot of things that may not matter to me. But if I'm reading your profile and all I'm learning about is you, and you're not talking about me at all, regardless if I realize why, I'm just like, I don't know if you have anything to help me with. I know your LinkedIn profile is supposed to be about you, but it's not supposed to be about you. So your about section in your profile, your headline, your banner are who you serve, the problem you solve, or the outcome you deliver. It's not how, it's not your 5-step methodology, it's not your availability, it's not your calendar link. It is about your client, the problems you solve, or the transformations that you deliver. So it's counterintuitive, I know. Same thing with your website. Your about page on your website has nothing to do with you. You sprinkle in you, but it's really about your client. Now, there are other things that you could be doing on LinkedIn. If you have not asked people for recommendations, colleagues, past bosses, clients, you should. Because there's a recommendation section on LinkedIn so that you have social proof. How many people go on Amazon and buy something that has no reviews? Typically, we look at the reviews and we look at the reviews, we look at the star ratings, and we typically buy because of the star rating or the reviews. Now, will people look at recommendations on your LinkedIn profile? Probably, maybe not. But if I can add social proof that I know how to do the thing that I say I know how to do, why would I not add it there? So level up your LinkedIn profile, like really optimize your LinkedIn profile, your bio, your headline, your banner, and your about section. And even the company that you're with, the role that you're with in the company, how are you measured for success? How does that matter to the client? What are your outcomes or deliverables that the client can expect from you in this role? That's what it's about. Now, if you're not, I'm not going to go deep into this because our next LinkedIn Live, and well, not this one, but the one after this one, and our next newsletter is going to go way deeper in how to really leverage LinkedIn. So I'm going to touch on these, but not go deep. LinkedIn events, educating your buyer. So your content should educate your buyer. If you educate your buyer, guess what? You influence the buying journey. You influence the buying journey with your education. You can highlight your differentiators between your competition. So what does that do? That sets you up as the winner. That sets the bar higher for your competition that may not deliver at the same level that you deliver. So you're influencing the buyer journey. You can message decision makers. You don't have to be connected to message decision makers. And guess what? If you think somebody shows up on your profile and they make a comment on your post and you don't recognize that person, we're curious by nature. So what do you think they're going to do? They might look at your profile. What are they going to see? Problems you solve, outcomes you deliver, social proof, all of those things. How else can you get in front of a decision maker to get them to get visibility on you or your brand? Other things, you can engage with decision makers. You can engage with thought leaders that sell to your audience. It doesn't mean they're your competitors. You could engage with competitors. It's bold. You could try it. But there are thought leaders that your decision makers follow, respect, value. You can make comments on their posts too. And what does that do? That gets you in front of decision makers. Okay, I'm going too deep. I'm talking too long. You can create your own community. There are groups or there are people that have built communities within their profile. You can also tease upcoming valuable information. So if people have put together a case study, data, a report, a research that has taken months and months and months, you can tease little pieces of that in your content. It's almost like a movie premiere. Like you're so excited. On page 26, we talk about this one stat. What are you doing to solve that in your business? Nothing. So guess what? You're teasing things out. You can sell products, memberships, and we use automation to do 90% of this, to market our events, to follow up with people, to engage with people, to connect with people, to all these things. There's only so much time I have in my day. So I have to use tools to scale my efforts. So I really just want you to be cognizant of what you're doing. What are you really doing on LinkedIn? Like really, really doing? And is it working? We're going to go into 4 strategies in my next LinkedIn Live and in the next newsletter that you can do that I bet you your competition isn't even thinking about. That's how you differentiate and elevate your brand on LinkedIn so that it can be a lead generation machine for you, not a time suck. All right, so if you have any questions about how you can use AI or automation to help your sales team get more done with less, DM me. All right, take care.